Hello, welcome in or welcome back to my channel. My name is Deb from DG Reads, and this is my hippity-hoppity furry sidekick Kylie, and we're here today to kick off a reading vlog about bunnies. Officially on my TBR for this month, I have Bunny by Mona Awad. This is a reread for me and one that I've been eager to pick back up. I really enjoyed it. It was weird. It was wild. I didn't know what was going on for half the book. So I'm curious to see how it's going to go when I'm rereading it and I know kind of what's going on. So this is kind of what spurred the idea of doing a bunny vlog, plus the fact that it is Easter this month. So Easter bunny things seem appropriate to kick off Easter weekend. For this week, I do have a few things going on. I am going to be taking a tour of the Wallis Annenberg, if I'm saying that right, Wildlife Crossing. This is something that just sounds really interesting. One of my friends from Bookstagram has set up a tour for a few of us book people and friends, and it just sounds like an interesting time. So I'll try to share a little bit about that here. I was originally thinking I'd do something wilderness related to tie into that, and that turned into bunnies. I don't know that there's known to be any bunnies in this area where this wildlife crossing across the freeway in Los Angeles is going to be happening, but you know, we're gonna make it work. In terms of a TBR for this, I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to get to. I do have a few things that I'm hoping to read that have bunnies on the cover, somewhat of a rabbit theme to them, but we'll see how many I get to. I'm hoping to get to a few, but I'm leaving it up in the air, see what life allows me to actually get into my reading this week. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get started, probably starting with Bunny, but we'll see, and I'll check back in with you when I have some more thoughts. Checking in with my first bunny book, Bunny by Mona Awad. And this one, like I'm sure I already said, is a reread for me, but definitely one I had forgotten elements of. We are following Samantha, who is a writer who is struggling with writing, and she's at school and she's part of this writer's workshop where there's this group of women who have all kind of bonded around each other and call each other Bunny. And they're just not normal. I mean, that's kind of the point. But she does feel a little bit on the outside of this group. She has another friend who despises the bunnies, and this is her best friend, and together they kind of look at the bunnies from afar. Well, the bunnies start inviting Samantha to join them. She's not a bunny, but she's invited into their parties and to their smutty storytelling, and they start wooing her with kind of almost trying to make her into one of them. And it's just strange. It's just weird. I do remember kind of wishing Samantha would stand up for herself a little bit more, both with the bunnies and with her other friend, to say what she wants. It's okay to kind of have a desire to be part of a group, but it's also okay to not, to want to spend time with a friend. The friend kind of ghosts her for a little bit in the early chapters in here, and she's just okay with that. And it's not normal to their relationship. It's not what they normally would do. And she doesn't really speak up about that as well. So I don't really remember where the story goes from here, and I'm hoping Samantha finds a little bit more agency as we go. We've got some disturbing imagery of bunnies just kind of staring at our main character. Even when the bunnies, the humans, aren't around, we've got the animal bunnies just kind of watching her. And it definitely has some creepiness to it, some weirdness for sure. And I'm enjoying rereading it. To all continue on, Kylie's starting to play with her toy, so getting loud. So I will cut this here and be back when I have final thoughts. I finished up reading Bunny today, and I think I didn't love it as much as I did the first time around, and by love, I mean it was a good solid 4-star read. I think this time I'd lean more towards a 3 or a 3.5, and I'm not sure if that's just I'm not in the same reading mood I was in the first time around, or if it just kind of lost some of the novelty knowing what is going on and what's behind the scenes in here. I am curious to see how the second book would go, this new sequel or prequel or whatever it is that is coming, but I don't know that I'm going to rush to pick it up. I likely will wait and see if some people give it some good reviews or what they have to say about it, and if that intrigues me, to go ahead and pick it up. So we'll see. I'm not entirely sure. I think I'm going to leave my rating as a 4-star on Goodreads, just because that was my original experience reading it. And that's what my rating that's on Goodreads. But I think really I probably would be more in the 3.5 range currently. So anyway, still a good start to this bunny vlog and getting to a book that I've been meaning to get back to since I've had it on my shelf for a reread. I just don't reread all that often. So it's something off the to-do list if nothing else. But I will check back in with you once I've picked up my next bunny themed book. We are on to our next rabbity adventure, and that is with Alice by Christina Henry. This is one that's been on my radar for a little while. Christina Henry is an author that I have enjoyed in the past and DNF'd in the past. And that had me a little bit worried going into this one. I don't know that many people who have read it that I've talked about it with, so I kind of went into this blind, aside from knowing that it is a reimagining or a twist on Alice in Wonderland and C.S. Lewis, I think, more in general, but also that it's the start of a series, which is probably not what I need to be doing right now, starting more series, but that's okay. But I did make it 40% of the way into this one, so I did want to go ahead and give my update because I have a lot of time in the car tomorrow. I do have the audiobook for this one, so I figure I probably will finish this up tomorrow. In this story, we are following Alice, and she's been institutionalized. Something has happened to her. The implication very, very early on is that she has been raped. There are a ton of trigger warnings in here. And the White Rabbit figure is the one who has attacked her and brutalized her. She's been abandoned by her family. She's been sent to this institution. She doesn't really know what's real, what's not. And there's another guy in the room next to her that she kind of makes friends with. And then there's a fire and they manage to escape, basically. There's a Jabberwocky that is the kind of menacing force that's a danger at the institution or just in this realm in general. And Alice and her friend Hatcher are off to kind of go into the city to get answers, to figure out kind of the truth, what's reality, what's not. I'm honestly at this stage of the game not 100% sure what the point of the plot is, what exactly their mission is. The synopsis really just takes us through the fact that they escaped the asylum and that they are tracking this beast, which is the Jabberwocky, into the city, which is where this White Rabbit is. And I'm assuming there's going to need to be some sort of reckoning between Alice and this rabbit, and that she's going to come to some sense of healing, maybe. I am not entirely sure. I really like the creativity that is going into taking things from Alice in Wonderland and putting it in this very, very different world. It's a very dark world, which isn't to say that the original doesn't have darkness to it, because it certainly does. But this one has much more brutality. It is absolutely adult. It is not for your young readers. It's talking a lot about very triggering type of things if you have concerns with those types of issues. I have been a little bit unsure how I'm feeling about it so far. I do want to keep going with it, but if I had to make the call right now, I don't think this is a series I would necessarily continue with. I do want to kind of get more enmeshed in it. Maybe it'll grow on me by the end of the book and I'll change my mind on that, but we will see. I do like the friendship that we're getting between Alice and Hatcher, and I do like the kind of concept of her dealing with her trauma, with her mental health, and those types of issues. So I'm going to keep going on it and see how it goes and check back in when I have more thoughts. I'm back with a bunny update for you, and unfortunately, not the best news. I have decided that I'm just gonna DNF Alice. I have picked it up and put it back down multiple times. I'm 2/3 of the way through, and honestly, every time I put it down, I almost forget I'm entirely reading it. And it's not that it's bad. It's just not fully drawing me in. And I just don't have time to just keep pushing my way through a book that's not thrilling me, when maybe the next book will be one that I love. So I think if this were a standalone, I might be more willing to push through, but knowing this is the first book in a series and I might not even get full answers out of this one, I think that makes it even more one that I just want to go ahead and mark as a series DNF and leave it there. I have so many things in this that I should be enjoying, and that's frustrating because I like a retelling. I like a creative kind of take on a story, especially when it's a story I know really well. I've read a reimagining of Jane Austen recently, and that's in my Architect that I'm currently working on. I've read a Count of Monte Cristo retelling, and that was in the Weekend Challenge that recently went up. So all those things, I know I'm in the mood for retellings. It's not that, and I think the author is doing a good job here of making a creative twist on Alice in Wonderland. I think it's just for some reason not hitting for me, and maybe it's just this author is not my vibe, because I think the last book I read from her, which was Horseman, which was a retelling also, I think that one was a DNF for me as well. So sad, but time to move on. But to throw something a little bit fun and a little bit happy into the mix for this update, we have our little bunny dog, and a special treat for said bunny dog is a little rabbit. You like it? Yeah. This one does not squeak, so we'll see how she winds up liking it, but I thought he was really cute, and when she destroys the furry covering, which of course she will, there's a rubber toy underneath she can keep chewing on. So we're gonna give this to her. I'm honestly just gonna go, I think, lay down for a little bit, listen to an audiobook maybe, pick a new bunny book to read, and we'll see how that goes. But for now, Kylie's gonna get her Not Loud toy, which will be conducive to me laying down for a bit, and go from there. So say bye to the people, puppy. Yeah? Okay. Hopping on in here before I hop off to work to give you another update, because I have started Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead by Emily Austen. This is one that's been on my radar for a little bit. I have seen people picking up this author's other books, and the bunny cover keeps getting my attention. This one is really cute with a lot of bunnies on it. There's also an alternate cover where it's a person holding a bunny. So either way, it's a bunny book. In this one, we're following Gilda, and she is a very interesting character. She is obsessed with death and constantly feeling like she herself may be dying, obsessing over the different ways people die, that people in front of her might die. There's a lot of anxiety going on in this woman's life. She has recently lost her job. She's been in a car accident, so she has some legitimate medical stuff going on top of the anxiety. And she winds up, through a course of events, she winds up getting offered a job at a Catholic church to replace their secretary who has passed away. And she is not Catholic. In fact, she's an atheist lesbian, and somehow she says yes, she'll take the job, and oh, by the way, yes, she's Catholic. She is desperate. She needs this job. She's also very much a people pleaser. She will do things to make people around her happy, it seems like. So she has a very interesting dynamic going on. She's very stressed about lying as part of this job, and I'm interested to see where it goes. It's very readable, very bingeable. I wound up flying past the halfway point. I think I'm about 57% I saw on the audio. It's very easy audio. I have no doubt I will probably finish it up at work today. And this might wind up being our final bunny book. I'm not 100% sure, but just timing wise, and the ones that I have left on my TBR are ones that require 100% eyeball reading, and I don't know that I have that in me this week before I want to get this out. So we'll see. I think this is a very creative character, a very interesting setup for this. I don't love lying in a book, so that part I'm a little wary of, but I think it's going an interesting route. I'm not minding it too much because I really feel for the main character in here. There is definitely some imagery of animal harm going on in here. It's mostly in her head. Like I said, she's obsessed with the concept of death, but there is implied animal death and kind of a little bit graphic in terms of her thinking through what might have happened to said animal. So just be wary of that going into it, but I'm having a good time. I am looking forward to continuing on, and I'll be back with final thoughts. I'm back to wrap up the bunny vlog with a couple of updates for you. One, I finished my book, which I left downstairs, but I did finish Everyone in This Room Will Someday Be Dead, and I generally enjoyed this one. I think it's very character driven, so you do need that to be the bulk of the book. It's not super plot heavy. Really, we are hanging out with our main character as she's trying to kind of deal with her mental health, with her identity, with her people-pleasing ways. And there were quite a few times where I got frustrated with her not being open with people, with actually openly lying to people. It gets her in trouble. There are a few things where her heart is in the right place, but she does things that I feel like were not the right move. But I think it was super engaging. It was a interesting read. It kept my attention. It wasn't hard to put down, but I did always want to pick it back up. So that is all very much a good sign. This one's getting a solid 4-star for me. And then to wrap up my week of bunny reading, I did go out today and visit the Wallis Annenberg Wildlife Crossing, which is a really, really cool thing that is happening. And it is huge. It is this massive effort by public sector and also kind of the government input and Caltrans and all these different national park and wildlife conserve groups, and just a lot of effort is going into this really, really cool thing of trying to let nature have its space to stop the damage that we've done to nature by creating these huge highways right through the middle of their territory. It causes problems because animals can't find mates that they aren't already genetically related to, and that creates issues. There's populations in danger of extinction because of this. And while this is not strictly rabbit related, I will say that one of the animals they talk about in this habitat as being one of the animals impacted are indeed bunnies or rabbits or cottontails or whatever they may be. But there is a very, very loose tie. The only actual animal that we saw today, aside from puppies, was a baby rattlesnake, which I did get a little bit of footage of. You can't really see it very well. It was kind of cowering and I didn't really want to get too close, but it was cute for a snake. And then we got to see the bridge basically over the freeway where it is now. They actually have put soil on top of it already. They're growing the plants for it. And it's just a really cool movement. I will include some links down below. I got to go to this. It was a tour arranged by one of my lovely Bookstagram friends, Kimberly, and I will have her link down below as well. She is someone I've talked about on this channel before because she's an author. She's written a couple nonfiction books, a couple short story collections, horror short stories. All of her books I've really, really enjoyed and will be very excited to read more from her in the future. But she arranged this, invited a bunch of us SoCal Bookstagram type people, so a few of us joined on, brought some friends along. It was a lovely time to take the official tour, and then we went out to lunch and just gabbed a bit. And there was a puppy adoption event happening at this restaurant that we went to, and these puppies were adorable. I didn't get footage of them because I was too busy just staring at them. I managed not to bring a dog home. Kylie is probably pleased by that. But anyway, very interesting afternoon, and glad that I was able to kind of fit it in somehow with the bunny theme of this particular vlog. But with that, I am going to go ahead and wrap this up here, that we're heading into Easter weekend next weekend. I have family plans, and it is when this vlog will be going live, Easter weekend, so figured it was the perfect theme for that. For now, I've had a long day after not a lot of sleep last night, so I think I'm just going to hang out with Kylie, do a little bit audiobooking, settle in before we go into a new week. Let me know in the comments below, do you have any particular books that you enjoy that feature rabbits on the cover, anything along those lines? Let me know. Have you read any of the books I read here? Are there any you would recommend? Love to hear all the things. And if you've made it this far and you don't have anything to comment, please leave me a rabbit emoji. And if you could hit that like button below, I would surely appreciate it. And hit subscribe if you'd be interested in more of my themed vlogs, more of my bookish thoughts, and more of my bookish content in general. But for now, I will leave you here and see you very soon in a new video.